Assalamu alaikum to all the children and especially our little Motikifeen who are attending this Eager's online Nafli Ittaqaf. My name is Rabia and I'm a storyteller. So this segment is going to be very interesting for the children who love listening to stories. And as you all know that prophetic stories are very important for all the Muslims. So I have decided that I am going to tell 10 different stories about the Prophet in these days of Ittaqaf. So before I start, I would like to request you all to please listen to it carefully because in the end, I'll be taking a short quiz. So today, I am going to tell you a story about Prophet Nuh alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Prophet to earth 1,000 years after sending Prophet Adam alayhi salam. And by this time, the evil shaitan had played his dirty tricks with the mankind. And people had started worshipping idols. It was during this time that Allah sent another prophet to earth, Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, to guide the people back. But it wasn't going to be an easy job. Fear Allah and do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, shouted the prophet to the people. But the people didn't want to listen and they shook their head and continued preaching the idols. The Prophet was an excellent speaker and he was very patient. So he said, "Don't you understand? It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who created the sun. It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who created the moon. It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who created everything in the world. It was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who created the rovers, the mountains, the trees, and everything you see around. He did all this for you and you alone. Then why are you not showing any respect?" But the people turned their backs on him by saying, who are you to guide us? You're just another man like us. We don't believe you. Go away and leave us alone. But there were good Muslims on earth too. Most of them were very weak and they were very poor, but they realized that they have been committing a great sin. They listened to the Prophet's words and they realized that they're committing a sin by worshipping the idol. So now there are two groups of people on the earth. One who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the other one who worship the idols. So Nuh alayhi salam kept preaching for many years as he was very determined, very patient, and he was man of his words. The idol worshippers soon became tired of the people. They accused Prophet by saying, "You have been preaching lies from long enough. We are going to stone you if you're not going to stop." But the Prophet ignores them and continued preaching the people tirelessly. Many times he was stoned by the idol worshippers, and most of the time he was even beaten by the stick. All this pain did not let the Prophet to stop calling out the people. He continued preaching to them for 950 years, but the number of the disbelievers kept growing and growing. So one night, Prophet Nuh alayhi salam was offering his prayer, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to him. "Don't be sad, Nuh. You have done what you were asked to. I am going to punish all the people on the earth for their wrongdoings, and everyone on earth is going to die except the Muslims and the animals," said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as the first step, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then asked the Prophet to plant many trees as he can. So Nuh alayhi salam didn't understand the reason, but he didn't ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a question about it. So he started working on it without questioning him. Now this shows what adab is. We should have this blind faith, firstly on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the prophets, and then we should have this faith on our elders, our parents, our teachers, and our mentors, and most importantly on our sheikh. We should have this faith that whatever they're saying is for our own good, and we should obey them without questioning them. Coming back to the story, after many years, Allah spoke to the Prophet again. And this time, he asked the Prophet to start building a ship. And it has to be a huge ship that can accommodate every pair of the animal of this earth, said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet was very confused because he didn't know how to build a ship. So in spite of this, he started working on its making. First, they made plans on building the ship. No one knew the exact size of the ship, but it was surely going to be a gigantic one. So his children and all his Muslim companions helped him in building a ship. So what he did, he first chose a place. He chose this mountain far, far away from the city. And then he started collecting the tools by cutting down the trees. Yes, the same trees he planted years ago. They worked day and night for this. So one day, the non-believers, the disbelievers, saw them building a ship, and they said, Prophet is out of his mind. And they started to laugh at him. They provoked him. They mocked him. And they said, why are you doing this, you fool old man? But the Prophet didn't react it. So he said, you would come to know. Even they provoked him, but Prophet didn't react at all. He was very calm and he was very patient. And he just told them to wait and watch. He didn't take any revenge. After many months of hard work, the ship was finally ready. One night, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet that he is about to start flooding the earth. The day when the Prophet sees the water coming out of the stove in his house. You see, this huge ship built by the Prophet had 3 different sections, like 3 different departments or floors or portions, you can say. The first one was for the birds. The second portion of the structure was for the humans. And the third portion was for the animals, mashallah. And while the day of the flood got nearer, animals and birds started arriving one by one. They were arriving in pairs, 1 male and 1 female. There were elephants, giraffes, rabbits, parrots, and soon the ship was filled with all the variety of animals and birds of the earth. And one day, like Allah told Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, water suddenly started coming out of the stove in his kitchen. This was the sign Nuh alayhi salam was waiting for. He knew the time of the flood had arrived. So he went out and saw that it started raining too. So without wasting any time, he ran out and he called all his Muslim companions and his wives and his son to come and board the ship quickly. The disbelievers didn't understand what is going on. So they kept laughing at the Prophet. But the Prophet ignored them and asked his wives and sons to board the ship quickly. Everyone obeyed him except one of his wife and son, who were not his followers anymore. The water level began to rise, so the Prophet ran to board the ship quickly. A terrible flood broke out, and the level of the water began to rise rapidly. The rain didn't stop for hours, and the ocean floor started rising. People realized that whatever the Prophet told them was true, and they ran towards the mountains to save themselves. The Prophet saw his wife and son who refused to go with him, were climbing a mountain to escape from the water. So he shouted to them, "Come and board the ship quickly and save your life." But they ignored them. And suddenly, a huge wave hit the mountain and killed both of them. And these waves killed all the disbelievers. And the water kept rising and rising. After some time, the earth was completely filled with water. Then Nuh alayhi salam said, "Bismillah." And when the Prophet uttered these words, the ship started to move. And Prophet knew he has to sail for a long period of time, as the earth was filled with water. The ship had 80 people in it, and the Prophet took precautions to store food for both men and animals. And Allah had it all planned. He made ships suitable for the silent sheep as well as for the violent lion. But the Prophet faces a lot of problems because of the rat. They were running everywhere, up and down, and they were really the troublemakers. So Prophet Nuh alayhi salam prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then he subhanahu wa ta'ala created the cat. And then the cats hunted the rats, and like this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala solved every problem of the Prophet he faced during the journey. And they sailed for about 150 years. So Prophet decided to send a dove in the search of the land. And the dove flew away, and after a few days returned with a branch of olive tree in his beak. So the Prophet and his family and the other Muslim companions were very happy to see it. The ship, after a few days, finally reached on the top of the Judi mountain. The Prophet said, Bismillah, and the ship stopped moving. After reaching, the Prophet released all the birds, animals, first into the land, and they went out, populated the earth back again. And the Prophet and other Muslims came out of the ship, and the first thing he did was to put his forehead to the ground in prostration. And that was a new beginning of human race. So it was a beautiful story, mashallah. Now I'm going to ask few questions from the story. Question number 1. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send Prophet Nuh alayhi salam to the earth? Question 2. Who boarded the ship along with the family of Prophet? Question 3. What was the name of the mountain where the ship finally landed? So you can give the answers in the comment, or you can send us a short clip. The number is on the screen. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you liked it. I hope to see you tomorrow at the same time. Till then, take care of yourself and the people around you. Jazakallah. Allah Hafiz.